Hello everyone and welcome to Lowwapanews, a program made by Scouts for Scouts, right here in the Northeastern Pennsylvania Council. My name is Leo Cahages and welcome to all of our viewers from throughout Pennsylvania and across the country. On this week's episode, we'll be learning the ins and outs of fire building. Before that though, we thought it would be nice to check out some of the great things that Scouts have been doing right here in our council. Let's take a look. Despite the current circumstances, Scouts everywhere have continued to find ways of providing service to those around them. On May 21st, 2020, Troop 251 from Clarks Green, Pennsylvania, placed flags in their local cemetery to honor the veterans of our country and celebrate Memorial Day. On May 16th, the Danbury District held its annual Spring Camporee, this time via Zoom. Scouts were able to come together virtually and take part in a number of merit badge activities, advancement activities, and just have some plain old scouting fun. Another virtual camporee will be held by the Danbury District on June 20th, also via Zoom. Troop 1 in Holmesdale held its annual flag retirement ceremony on Flag Day, June 14th. The Scouts safely retired worn-out American flags and honored our country in front of a small group of spectators. Lowwapanews Lodge conducted its Adopt a Highway service project on June 7th. Members in attendance wore protective equipment and picked up trash to clean up the sides of Goose Pond Road. That does it for this week's Scouting Updates. There's nothing quite like the feeling of sitting around a campfire. For more on how to build that campfire, we go to Scoutcraft staff member from Goose Pond Scout Reservation, CJ Walker.
Hey guys, welcome back to this week's episode of Lowwapanews. So today, I just want to give you guys a little bit of a talk about the three main types of fires. Alrighty guys, so right here we have our two main types of fires. So we have what we consider the teepee fire, and we have what we consider the log cabin. So the log cabin here is a really good fire for a couple different things. So if you need to make coals to cook off, the log cabin's a great way because you can get a lot of bigger material on it that'll burn relatively quickly and burn down the coals. And the log cabin's also a really good cooking fire for that reason, because you could make your coals for foil packs or other things like that, or roast marshmallows over the top. Where the teepee, on the other hand, is a really good warming fire, in my opinion. You can use the teepee to cook, but typically the teepee is better off as a get-together warming fire, is how I see it. Now we got one more type of fire I want to show you guys. Alrighty guys, now we have our third and final fire lay. So this fire lay right here is what I consider to be the castle. And I call it the castle because it's the best of both worlds. It is the log cabin for the framing, with the teepee as sort of the roof on the castle. So this is personally my favorite different type of fire lay, as it is the best for both worlds. Like I said before, it's best for cooking, it's best for warmth. This fire will get coals really hot really fast, and this fire can get very hot very fast. It's even a very good fire as I have here, you can lay sticks over the top. I don't really have it illustrated the best here, but you can do something like this, and that does two things. Let's say you have some wet kindling or tinder. You could take it, start a fire underneath right here, inside the log cabin. Fell over a little bit. And it'll dry out those sticks and then burn them, and that'll help your teepee so you can catch on some of the stuff up here to burn a little bit faster. So it's also actually quite the simple fire lay, as you can get your fuel. You can use your teepee, make that out of your kindling, and use your fuel, so your bigger logs, as the structure for the log cabin. And then the teepee's made out of your kindling, and that way you can get your fuel really hot because you're going to cook it from the inside and the outside. The other thing about it, and I don't know if I mentioned this before with these fires, but I don't have it illustrated here, but you're always going to want to have some sort of tinder bundle down here. So whether that's some jute twine that's shredded up into a bird's nest, or it's some feather sticks, or some form of tinder in here. And then you're going to want to always make sure you have your tinder, your kindling, and your fuel, your three main ingredients to your fire other than air, ignition source, fuel. So this here is the teepee log cabin cross, which is what I call the castle. I've heard some other names for it, but I generally refer to this at camp as the castle fire. And that's what I have for you guys today. I'd say I gave you guys three main types of fires that you can practice while you're at home. You can practice with your family making them, and then when all this COVID stuff starts to clear up, you guys can take these skills that you practice at home out into the field with your troop or with your family and go camping and demonstrate all these cool fire techniques and different types of fire builds that you learned here on the Lowwapanews. So that's all I have for you guys today. So remember, the 3 key ingredients to fires is tinder, kindling, and fuel. You need your fire triangle, so you need your air, fuel, and ignition source. And then remember, we have these 3 main types of fires: the teepee, the castle, and the log cabin. Remember, the castle is a cross between the teepee and the log cabin. Remember, the log cabin, you have your fuel. Similar to here where you have your bigger stuff, make sure you always put your bigger stuff on bottom because you do not want a burning fire to topple over. That could start a fire itself. And remember, your teepee is typically built with a lot more of your kindling on the outside. You could put some logs around it on the outside too if you'd like, but it's not exactly the most efficient for burning them. So I hope you guys learned something today on the Lowwapanews, and hope you guys stick around and watch the next episode.
Thanks, CJ. Let's check in with Lowwapanoo Lodge Secretary and Goose Pond Aquatic staff member Matt Matichka for the Scout Joke of the Day.
Hey everyone, I'm Matt Matichka. I'm an Eagle Scout from Troop 132, and I'm also the Lodge Secretary. And today I have a joke for you all. Okay, ready for it? Here it comes. What type of house weighs the least? What type of house weighs the least? I'll give you a second. It's a lighthouse. Get it? You know, like the houses with like the big lights that like shine. Yeah, they weigh the least because they're called lighthouses, therefore they are light. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. For the last segment on today's program, we go to Mrs. Sheila Bender for the Scoutmaster's Minute.
Good evening. I'm Sheila Bender with Troop and Pack 106 of Mountaintop and Venturing Crew 461 of Mountaintop. But most of you probably know me through the Cope and Climbing in the council. This past Sunday was Flag Day, June 14th. Our Venturing Crew has been doing a flag retirement ceremony for several years now up at the American Legion, Post 781. We do it because those flags that have served us well now need to be retired with dignity and respect. To me, the American flag is something to be proud of, honored, and respected. It is an emblem of the greatest sovereign nation on earth. It stands for freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It led our men and women into battles. It also laid silently across the caskets of those who gave their lives for those freedoms on their way to their final resting place. The flag isn't just a piece of cloth. It's a representation of hope. Hope for those whose dreams are of freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I stand for the American flag. I salute the American flag, and I give it the honor and respect it deserves. Long may she fly.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Bender. Well, folks, that just about does it for this week's episode of Lowwapanews. Before I sign out, though, I'd like to give a quick shout-out to Jet and Cub Scout Pack 1 in Altadena, California. Jet and his pack have been consistently tuning in since episode 1 of Lowwapanews premiered. Jet, thanks for being such a great supporter, and remember to keep on scouting. Until next week, this has been Leo Cahages, reminding you to be prepared.